afternoon and welcome back. This is going to be the 52 Game Challenge 2024, the first 10 games of the year. So a new year, a new 52 Game Challenge. I think recently as well I was talking to Chicken Fillets and he said that he is on track for 52 Game Challenge. I don't know if he's going to do it, but he said that he has finished a game every week this year so far. So I think he's going to be in the pursuit of 52 games in a year. So hopefully he joins in on it and gets stuck into his games. He does a lot of RPGs though, so he's got a lot of gaming to do. But anyway, on to the 52 Game Challenge, first 10 games. So what I want to mention, as well, is I was going to follow suit with John Bundy and do like a little recording after finishing the game, so it was fresh in my mind. But I've not done that because I'm just lazy. That's the reality of it. I'm just a lazy bum, and I didn't do that. But what I do and what I did do last year is I wrote like a little kind of a Twitter message. Every game I beat, I always put it on Twitter. So I'll just look back on them and that re-jogs my memory in the games. But anyway, first game I finished this year was Star Ocean First Departure R on the Switch. That was digitally, so I don't have that physically, but I did write down all my kind of thoughts in the games when I finished them, and I put them on Twitter. So I taking some wee pictures of it so I can just re-jog my memory. So once I get this working, whatever. So the first game, so Star Ocean First Departure R. So on Twitter I wrote, really good adventure with solid combat, lovely graphics, gets pretty tough towards the end, multiple characters to get and a few different endings too, lots of skills to unlock, and I barely scratched the surface. So yeah, there's a few characters to get, and I know that Eddie Rollercore, he did finish this game as well. He finished it on the PlayStation, and he got more characters than what I got. I think I only got like 2 or 3 of the characters. I think there's like 5 or 6 characters, if I remember rightly. But it's a good game. I quite enjoyed it. It's very an old-fashioned kind of RPG. It's I think it was either on the SNES or the PlayStation 1 originally. It's very linear. Like there's not a lot of side quests in the game. Like you're just going after the main story. Well, at least I did anyway. I didn't get sidetracked with anything. It just let me go straight through the game, and for that I really enjoyed it. And the battle system's fantastic. Great music, brilliant anime cutscenes and things like that. Really good RPG, Star Ocean First Departure R. And then the second game we did this year was Urban Chaos for the PlayStation 2. Really cool game. This is one of the kind of games that a lot of people say is like a hidden gem, or just a game that's underappreciated, underrated. And I've had it for a while now in the collection, and I thought I really fancied a first-person shooter, and I fancied a first-person shooter from this kind of era, and it was brilliant. So what I wrote on Twitter was, great shooter from this era of gaming, still holds up pretty well. The shooting is great, and popping headshots was very satisfying. Set over 11 stages with few unlockable levels too. Looks very good with some great details. So there's a lot of cool details in the game, like in the background and things like that. But yeah, like I said, like when you pop a headshot, it's really satisfying. It's really cool. Because the guns are just very hefty and very weighty. The controls of the game is just fantastic. The presentation of the game is really cool as well. It's all before every mission there's like a news bulletin of the riots that are happening throughout the city, and then you're thrown into the level, and it's a really good game. I really enjoyed that actually. Game number 3 was here. Avengers on the PS5. I thought this game was fantastic. I thought it was really, really good. Especially the campaign. Like, I'm not much into multiplayer, so I didn't dive into the multiplayer. And the multiplayer's got that kind of, I don't know the term for it. It's kind of like a free-to-play kind of model. I think that's what you call it. No, I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like Destiny. It's kind of got like a Destiny model on the multiplayer. But anyway, it was just the campaign that I played, and it was brilliant. Honestly, I thought the campaign was so good. There's all the characters there, obviously all the Avengers are in there, and there's so much DLC as well that you can get that I've not even touched, to be honest, but I do want to go back to it. There's a Hawkeye DLC, and then there's Black Panther DLC, and there's another one I can't actually remember just now. But what I wrote on Twitter was the single player game was fantastic, following the story of Kamala Khan after the events of A-Day. So at the start of the game you're celebrating A-Day, so Avengers Day, and then shit hits the fan, as it does. And in the aftermath, the Avengers disband, and the whole game is you getting all the Avengers back together. It's as Kamala Khan, as a fan, as an Avengers fan, and I thought it was really, really cool. I thought the Hulk was a really good character, like Dr. Banner. He was really cool. He's one of the first Avengers you meet, and just the first meeting with the Hulk was really exhilarating as well, because you're in you're in this kind of, is it the helicarrier, I think, as Kamala Khan, and you find Captain America's shield, and then the Hulk busts through and chases you, and then later on he says to you, like, he thought that you're just some scavenger, just wanting to kind of like scavenge all the Avengers things and all that. It's just really, really good. Dr. Banner's really good in the game. The Hulk, brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Another really cool bit in the game was when you find Tony Stark, because he's like down and out, and he's living in like a wee camper van inside his estate, his old family estate. And once you start to recruit him, you have to kind of go through this broken down estate and find parts of his suit, but it's like a mishmash of a suit, and he just looks really cool. He's got like a fighter pilot helmet on. It just looks really cool. It's really good game, and I would definitely recommend to at least play through the campaign of the game. I thought it was brilliant. Next one was again another digital game, and it was Lost in Random. So Lost in Random, I got the heads up about that from Lost Blah and Scott Glory Hunter. I think Paul Link Northern as well. I think they guys played it and they said it was really good. And I thought it was a fantastic little game. It was very dark. It's very, very Tim Burton inspired. Like when you're walking through the worlds, the whole world is just like ripped from a Tim Burton movie. It could easily have been a Tim Burton kind of a game, to be honest. Loads of cool characters in the game. There's Roy Am, so he's like the dark version of the mayor. He was really good. And the Shadow Man was just weird. Like he like kidnapped kids and things like that and put them in he unzipped like this kind of big gimp suit thing and chucked kids in his stomach. It was just weird. It was weird, but it was really, really good. Graphically, I played it on the Switch. I didn't really notice too much like frame rate drops or anything like that. It was a very good game on the Switch. And a lot of the kind of environments and stuff reminded me a little bit of like Epic Mickey, like just the way they kind of it's hard to explain, but the kind of environments are all kind of like bent kind of buildings and things like that. You have to kind of play it to understand. It's just a really cool game. Reminded me a little bit of Epic Mickey and like Medieval with Tim Burton. It was a really good game. Next game was Past Cure. So I got this from James GameZone Boardroom's Secret Santa this year. This is an indie game, and it's got very, I don't know the term I'm trying to think of here. It's like illusions of grandeur, maybe. I think the people or the person that made this game wanted it to be like this big, massive universe that they were going to continue on, but I don't think they did. Well, I don't know if there's any other games. I like the kind of concept of it. I like the nightmare kind of levels. But apart from that, it's pretty broken. It's not a great game. I wouldn't actively recommend somebody to go out and buy it, but if they had it or if they had access to play it, it's worth giving a go because there's some good ideas, especially with the story and where I think they wanted to go with the story. But it just fell short. It felt broken. It felt kind of unfinished, and it's a bit harsh to say that because it is an indie game, so there wasn't loads of money thrown at it. So I think they did what they could with it, but ultimately it just kind of it did kind of fall short, and it felt a bit broken. What do I got here? Aye, that's pretty much what I wrote on Twitter as well. Game number 6 is The Order 1886. I love this game. This game is an absolutely stellar game. It is very short. It's very cinematic. It's a very cinematic kind of action game, and I felt like it was just a little bit. I don't really know how to explain it. Like maybe a little bit ahead of its time, because nowadays you've got all the PlayStation Studio games and they're underneath one banner, and this came out before that really happened. But I love it, and the story and the lore. There's so much in this game that there's so much lore in this game that there should be more to it. Like there's the whole kind of arc with the Knights of the Round Table. So you play as Galahad, and you've got all the other ones with you and everything. But it's really cool because like if a knight dies, then the title goes to somebody else. Galahad, obviously not Galahad's real name. I think he was called Grey or Grayson. But yeah, the story is fantastic. There's so much lore to be tapped into. Like you're fighting off against Lycans and things like that, but then you find out about vampires later on in the game and how the United India Corporation are like shipping these vampires around. It's just so cool, man. There's so much possibility with the story, so much depth, but they just let it go. And I know that Ready at Dawn, I've read into it a little bit. Ready at Dawn, they disbanded. They got bought by Facebook, I think, to make VR games. So I don't know if they'll ever revisit it, but I think if Sony have any kind of pull with that IP, it's definitely a game that could come back and be explored more upon. I mean, you team up with a girl, an Indian girl, and she has like, you can tell that she's part of the Order, but I don't know if there is an Order like over in India, or if it was just one of the knights that went rogue. I can't remember his name, but he went rogue, and then I think he passed on his traits to this Indian girl. But even that, there's a whole story there to be told that we don't know. And at the end of the game, you see Galahad standing up, looking over London, and it's very Batman-esque. It's really, really cool, and it's just like, man, we need more of that. We need to see Galahad, or Galahad no more, going after the night, after the Order. I just wish there was more. Such a good game. The shooting's fantastic, and there's a really cool feature that I've never seen before in a game, and it's with the photo mode. So in the photo mode, you can change the filter, and you can change the intensity of the filter, and you can change the brightness and the exposure and everything. But then there's an option to lock that filter, so you can play that whole game using that filter. So you can play the game in black and white, you can play the game in red and black, you can play the game in any filter and any exposure or anything like that you choose. That's really cool. I've never seen that before in a game. But Order 1886 is brilliant. Game number 7 was Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Fantastic again, like Metroidvania. And I finished this game, I think, with 48%, so there's tons and tons and tons to do in the game. And the map's massive. The game is absolutely gorgeous. And when I was playing it, I bought the missus what do you call it? A Go V light strip, like, so it's like ambient lighting, and that game with all the bright, vibrant lights and everything. And when it's swishing around the screen, it's splashing up in the back of the wall. It's just bloody gorgeous, absolutely amazing. It's the best game I've played with that ambient lighting behind the TV. Brilliant. Loads of cool bits in it. Obviously, the controls are just inch perfect as well. Like, if you die, then it's your fault. It's not because the game is lagging or anything like that. It's literally down to you. The controls are perfect. Music, fantastic. Piano kind of background music, and then my favourite bits in the game were the chase scenes. Whenever you're getting chased by big bosses and things like that. Very much trial and error, but once you make it through one of them sections, it just feels so good. It feels absolutely brilliant because the music will swell up at the end and things like that, and then you just pop out like a tree or something. It's just fantastic. Ori is a brilliant game, and I played the first one, I think, last year, and loved that as well. Like, fantastic. Next game was game number 8. Oh, throwing it away, and it's Stray, PS5. Again, bloody brilliant. Graphics are amazing. Loads of big neon lights and lovely kind of post-apocalyptic kind of scenery when you get to see the scenery, because you're mostly down in the underground. But again, loads of folk have played this one. Mark's played it. Eddie's played it. I think everyone's played it. Paul White Northerner, I'm pretty sure he played it on the PlayStation and Xbox. It's just bloody brilliant, and it was a game that I thought would be good. I thought it would be good, but I didn't think it would be good as it is. It's just really, really cool. You start off with your little kind of litter or cluster of cats, and then you fall down into the underworld, into the underground, and you meet all these robots that have been abandoned by humans, but they're trying to learn how to become human, kind of thing. It's just really, really good. And you meet a wee robot called B12, and I'll not spoil the story or anything like that, but when you get to a certain point, you find out a wee revelation about that wee robot. And when you're trying to get back to your litter, obviously, or your cluster, and as you're doing that, you're also helping out the robots to kind of get up to the top so they can see the sky and stuff. It's just really, really good. Fantastic. Music's brilliant. The environments are stunning. The only downside for me with this game is there's no photo mode, because this game would be stunning with a photo mode. There's just so many photo opportunities, I guess. Brilliant. I really, really enjoyed that. Game 9. So this is keep throwing things away. This is the third part of this series. So it's a Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is the third part of the reboot series, and I think I really, really enjoy these games. I think they're up there with Uncharted. I don't think they're as good as Uncharted, but I think they are really, really good. This game's really cool. Like, graphically, it's fantastic as well. Like, the foliage and the environments are just stunning to look at. Great photo mode in this game, absolutely brilliant. And the story really touches on, like, Lara's obsessive side. Like, she's obsessed with finding these artifacts, and she gets, at the start of the game, she finds like a dagger, and there's like murals in the wall and things, and it says that by taking this dagger, I think it was, that all these catastrophes would ensue. And as soon as you get out of that kind of tomb, there's a big tsunami, and everyone's getting washed away and dying and stuff. And then you meet up with your pal again, Jonah, on top of one of the roofs, and he's helping out all the people, and Lara's like, we have to go and get this next artifact and blah 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 blah, and Jonah's raging at her because that's all she's interested in, rather than helping people that were hurt in the tsunami. She's just interested in finding this artifact, and he's not very happy with her, but it's fantastic. And then there's a part that I released a short of recently where Lara just snaps and she just goes absolute dark. It's just really, really cool, emerging from the water and just walks over to this guy and stabs him. It's just fantastic. The kind of character arc with Lara at that point was just brilliant. Really enjoyed that. And then game number 10, so this is the most recent one we finished. So this was me and Jay. We streamed Borderlands 2 together, and Borderlands 2 is a game that I've played many times. I love Borderlands 2. I haven't finished all the DLC, so me and Jay will continue with the DLC with our streams just whenever there's no like schedule for it. But honestly, the Borderlands 2, and I've said this before, and I'll continue saying it, the Borderlands 2 is one of the best sequels ever made. It's just fantastic. It takes what Borderlands 1 did and just turns it up to 11. Like, it just adds more characters. It adds more character to the world of Pandora. It adds more characters. It adds Handsome Jack. Handsome Jack is one of the best villains in gaming. He's just brilliant. He's so well written, and we absolutely loved it. And as soon as we beat the warrior and all that bloody loot popped, it was a great feeling. And then he's right into it again, so we will be going through all the DLC. We've started Captain Scarlet's Booty DLC, fantastic. Borderlands 2, absolutely love it, and we're still going to play it. We're going to try and continue playing it throughout the year. Brilliant game, absolutely brilliant. So that was the first 10 games this year of the 52 game challenge. What games am I playing just now? So just now I'm playing through Persona 4 Golden on the Vita, which I'm enjoying. It's a bit of a time sink, to be honest, but I do enjoy it. I mean, there's nothing... Persona games are fantastic, especially with the presentation and the music, even like the menus and everything. They're great games. The only thing that kind of throws me off with Persona is the life sim aspect of it. That kind of bores me a little bit, but I do enjoy it. And I'm going to stick at Persona 4 and get it finished, because I did fall off of Persona 5, which is a shame, because Persona 5 is fantastic as well. And I've just recently started Final Fantasy VII Remake again, so I'm going to finish Remake and then do the intermission chapter as well, and hopefully that'll be just in time for Final Fantasy Rebirth to come out, because that looks game of the year. It's game of the year already. It's not even out. It's game of the year. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and take care. Cheers.